Hello everyone. We are still in Las, which in Polish is forest, music studio of Atanas Valkov, where he composes his music and where he works. Atanas, thank you again for giving us this opportunity to be here.
It's a great pleasure to have you here, and I'm also very happy.
And of course, you are right now a developed artist, and you are a pianist, composer, and a music producer. But you started as a pianist in the music school, and I would want to ask, how does development look like? How from a pianist you grew and became a composer?
You know, I think it's a curiosity, because when I was very young, I really marked with the pen on the furniture. My parents were very angry because I wrote everything like keys of the piano.
You keys on the piano on the furniture?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I would murder you as a kid.
And I think it was started, and they decided to get me to the music school, and it was a really classical start. And I think in general classical education is very important, but it's also very strict. I mean, it's very important when parents decide to involve their children in music school.
Of course, but I mean, still there are so many people who start music school and don't finish.
Yes, but this is because the system is constructed that needs to make great musician, like performer, to read the scores and just to play. Of course, there's later on in the studies and academic world,
faculty, there is the composing.
It's more like for composing, arrangers, but in this primary, which is most important thing, I think it's a lack of finding individuality, finding that the kids that have to improvise, play by ear. I think this is thanks for this curiosity that I really wanted to play something by what I hear. Leads me to jazz, leads me to improvisation, to folk music, and because this is maybe very simple things, but they are open for not only for just playing what you have written on the page, And
so I understand. So they are traditionalist and strict when it comes to in the music schools. But isn't it good that the child get a proper background of?
It's very important, but
if you read the notes, for example.
Yes, this is quite important. But in the same time, in the same moment during the first education, I think it needs to be changed somehow to find in each
your own
student
voice.
His own voice, and develop hearing, because they are playing just what they see, And this is not everybody, after this system of musical education, the primary system, not every musician have this opportunity to get out of this. And I had this chance because met some people. I play on contrabass and drums on folk band. Later, the jazz like overwhelming me. I mean, every day I spend like day and night listening to jazz, swing, and thanks for that, I developed myself to hearing what I play, to know really know what I'm playing. And this is different. To know theoretically what you play, not only just to be like. Musician in orchestras, as you can be a great performer, and I really appreciate that. And we need this kind of soloist and classical world. But this is a different world. For composing, you have to understand the building blocks of harmony and theoretical things. So it's, as you say, this is very important. This classical background, but later needs to go more and feel what is the real inside the harmony, real thing,
Okay, I understand. So when was the moment of your transition? When
I think in the primary school.
Already?
Yes.
You already knew, okay, I don't want to be a pianist, only
yes,
I want
because I was a little bit, didn't want it to, okay, I play all the classical material, because the first and second degree of the musical school needs to play like every half year, and at the end of the year you have like
finals, of course.
Final concerts, but in the same time I really always wanted to play by ear.
You play something for yourself.
Yes, and even in music schools, I remember they didn't like it. That when,
They didn't like it.
They didn't like the teachers didn't like when you play by ear. It says as like you was playing like this is like more like
And now
entertainment or something. But I always felt that this is very important to play by ear and understand what you are playing. And this leads me to studying a little bit in jazz academy in Katowice in jazz piano. Of course, it was a difficult time because I was trying to get myself in the business because I was starting from nothing, and it was difficult time in Poland right now, like historical moment because between this 90s and 2000 was like this capitalism, right?
Introduced to Poland to socialistic time, of course, in the transition.
From the beginning.
So you were kind of going through a transition, and Poland was kind of going through a transition.
Yes, I was in States, and because my father is an artist, he lives in States. My mother here is in Poland, and in the meantime, I get this scholarship from Berkeley World Tour scholarship, but there is like half tuition, so they cover half tuition. I couldn't afford
the other
another half, so it was also a difficult time. So I decided to go on my own, and develop myself, and then go to music production.
But it seems it worked. From being a musician
to go to music production, it comes with with different artists playing pop, concerts, a lot of touring. I even spent a couple of 1 year or 1 year and a half in France with French producer Madhouse, who produced remixes from Madonna. And we produced some remixes of Stay in Beach.
Well, hopefully it didn't become Madonna.
But it was my adventure with club music.
Oh, I see.
We produce a lot of club music remixes. We play in Belgium, in France, in big clubs for a couple of thousand of people. I was quite of 20s, 20s, 25 years old, and so it was like partying.
So you were a classical pianist playing club music.
That's true. I also play
What
electro.
a waste, I would say.
And somehow it gives me a lot of freedom, and for now, this connection with electronic music. Even if I was in primary school, it was the 90s, right? Yes. Techno already started, and then hip hop was a little bit before, and techno was very modern, and somehow this kind of new way of new music, this is a new electronic music, came into my blood, and mix it with classical education, and then piano and percussion. In the secondary school, I was a drummer and playing vibraphone and percussion instrument, classical percussion instrument.
Well, you had just orchestra walking in
Maybe
one
not
person.
orchestra, but I had some, episodes with clarinets and flutes, and as I thought.
But I can imagine it helps with being a composer when you're multitasking.
Yes, you have to understand each instrument, how it's built, how it creates the sound, what is the techniques, especially for strings. We have to know which strings, where is the fingering, because when you write wrong notes, it's difficult or impossible to play by strings. So the knowledge of how instruments are built, it's crucial. I mean, it's very important. Without that, of course, we have technology that gives us opportunity to play all instruments on the computer, but at the end, it's important to know that. But later on, I get to this music production, play for, compose and arrange for Polish stars. But in 2009, I won this Berlinale score competition, and I decided, okay, I a little bit cut out of this. But I compose also in the meantime some pop productions. But I decided to go into the film and scoring for picture. And right now, after 10 years, I went back to playing concerts. Also with film music, of course, too, but to implement this both words, like classical, not only both, like a couple of words of ethno, classical, and film music.
Still a lot of talking. I would like to listen to you play. So play something for me, especially around in the COVID when you cannot get any other concert but just private ones.
Okay, like private stream for you all. And for Poland Daily.
And for Poland Daily.
Okay, great, okay.